Hello, welcome back to another video. Today we're reacting to some based conservative. Crowd goes silent when The View Sunny hosts and reveals how clueless she is. And who would have saw who would have seen that one coming?
And Gavin didn't just knock down one dam for the Indians, he knocked them all down. He knocked down 4 of the dams. I'm sorry, this is stolen land, first of all, okay? California is stolen land. Second of all,
California didn't belong to the Indians, it belonged to the native Mexicans. Hence why it was originally part of Mexican territory. Because it belonged to the native Mexican tribes. Native Americans have said that multiple times as well, that they would cross with the Mexicans and the native Mexicans would cross over here and set up camps over here and claim territories up here in the north. That's why the Native Americans don't have as much beef with Mexicans or any beef at all with Mexicans like they do with white people. Also, if it's stolen land, why don't you sell your mansion, give up this entire studio and return it to the Native Americans? If you're so passionate about that shit, how can you be this retarded?
that's part of what always happens. These dams, there's preservation of the dam. So that was just complete, not only misinformation, but it was racist.
You're spreading misinformation.
The first violent sacking of our capital since the War of 1812. I hate to be the fly at the picnic table, but you can't peacefully transfer power to an insurrectionist.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel.
Hope are you retarded?
In this video, we have our favorite racial victimologist, climate change experts, the harpies of The View, who are totally melting down over misinformation.
Oh my God, dude, how have these people not been fired?
Racist who,
I know
if
how,
it wasn't for
but
January
still.
6th, would have no talking points at all for the last 4 years. Let's get into it.
Do it wins. You know how they're always saying, oh.
ABC's new slogan is soon going to be alphabet before character.
The wind, it actually does. The winds move things and sparks move things. And
Yes.
it doesn't matter how much water you have.
Oh, it does, actually.
900,000 buildings go up at the same time.
They didn't, though. Are you retarded?
Having lived in California, having lost every house save for one that we ever lived in, I take great offense at pointing fingers. You should be pointing fingers about how can we help?
Yeah.
It's too soon to be saying, oh, it's Gavin's fault. It's his.
No, it is way too... No, we started way too late, actually, because of the budget cuts that were enforced and the bullshit DEI crap that they're pushing. How do you not have money to fill up the water hydrants, but you have money to fund DEI? That makes 0 sense. What the fuck are you on about? Also, it's not all the buildings going up at the same time. If fire spreads, it doesn't just poof pop out of fucking nowhere like a tornado does. It spreads. It starts with one and then it spreads in every direction in a circle. What the fuck are you on about? I literally got a citizen notification earlier today saying that one of the fires is barely 45% contained. 45, you stupid fucking bitch. And you're gonna sit here and be like, oh, we can't point fingers, we have to... What the fuck is the average citizen gonna do when they're now enforcing curfews on these areas? Which makes 0 fucking sense. Like, where the fuck are these people gonna go? Because they can't go to the hotels. Those are crowded already with immigrants. So they can't stay there. So where else are they going to go? The streets? Oh, cool. Now they have to fend for themselves against crazy fucking homeless people? Like, what? How fucking ignorant are you, bro? Like, holy shit. Millionaire problems, dude. Why are these millionaires sitting here giving their opinion on, like, the average day Americans' struggles? That makes no sense.
It's nobody's fault. It's like us taking seriously that there are, you know, magic lasers in the sky that direct the weather. That doesn't work. It doesn't happen.
You're retarded.
And this is what's happening.
Holy shit.
And let's try to figure out how to work towards not having it happen again. But, you know, we don't control
simple
Mother
change
Nature.
of government.
Mother Nature doesn't give a damn what we want. Mother Nature does what she does. And if you're in the way...
No, but there's clear ways to prevent all this shit. Like our water hydrants. Why do I keep saying water weird? Holy shit. Like our water hydrants, because they're called fire hydrants, you fucking dumbass. Oh my god, it's too early for this shit, dude. It's too early. It's 1 in the afternoon. I just woke up. It's too early for this shit. The fire hydrants. Yeah, that's why I couldn't say water hydrants, because that's not the actual fucking word. The fire hydrants had 0 fucking water in them. Like, what are firefighters supposed to do when they can't even access the water to put out the fires?
This is what happens. And California is chock full of people. So far, 24 lives have been lost. Evacuations continue. So what should these officials be doing to get help or get this under control?
I don't know. Fill up the water tanks. The water tanks in advance so the fire hydrants have water.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott for sending firefighters in. Canada, Mexico, they sent people in even while we're talking about Donald Trump potentially purchasing all of these places. So I think right now people understandably are looking to place their
Yeah. Make a joke in the middle of a tragedy. Yeah, that's always funny, you know. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha, these countries are helping us, but we're trying to take the ha ha ha. Funny meme, funny joke, ha ha ha. Poorly timed, poorly executed, because there's people dying. But hey, you know, my house hasn't burnt down because I live in a nice area where it's never dry because we have water.
Somewhere, so I don't know if it makes people feel better to point their finger, but just
I can guarantee if their houses burned down, they would be having a totally different tune. Then again, if their mansions burnt down, it wouldn't matter because they have another one somewhere else.
The count of bodies keeps going up and up. They haven't even gone and been able to see how this all.
This reminds me of the South Park episode I saw yesterday. It's the one where they're trying to combat smoking and the fucking dude is like yelling at this guy in the bar who just got off a 14-hour shift. And he's like, you know what I do when I want to relax and de-stress? I go to my vacation house in Hawaii. And he's like, I don't have a vacation house in Hawaii. Then his retort was, well, your vacation house in Mexico. You know, everyone has a vacation house somewhere. And I was just like, this is that exact same mentality. I'm seeing it right here with these fucking idiots. The exact same shit.
Started. You can't start right now doing this. Everyone should be saying, how can we help? And they should be flooding over there.
Then what are you doing?
And GoFundMe accounts, whatever you can do to help. But this is not the time.
GoFundMe accounts that are never going to go to the actual people.
In a time of a lot of climate change and things that are happening. I just find it a little.
Climate change is a small factor, tiny, minuscule factor in this. Yeah, I believe in climate change, and I'm an advocate for changing our shit so the climate's better. But climate change is a small factor in this. We've always had the Santa Anita winds. We've always had El Nino. We've always had La Nina. We've always had that shit throughout the history of America and Mexico. Okay? We've always had those natural disasters come in around this time of year. You know what we haven't had? Gavin Newsom being an utter dumbass when these tragedies usually occur. Funding being cut. Water tanks not being full so that way the fire hydrants have water supply. A steady stream of water. That's something we have never had. So don't sit here and try to blame it all on climate change when it's our incompetent ass fucking governor that's doing this stupid ass shit and the incompetent fucking elected officials that he put in charge. Holy fuck, dude. So out of tune, so out of touch. Yeah, read your script a little harder there.
Disturbing that you're going to actually blame a mayor, a governor. If they were standing right in that spot, the fire still would have started.
Well, let's all be glad that Whoopi Goldberg lived.
No, it wouldn't, because now I also received another fucking notification on Citizen earlier today that there have been 11 people arrested for arson. So there's lunatics out there starting the fires, causing even more trouble. So yeah, and they're being let go, by the way, or not charged at all. Thanks to our mayor and our governor passing those idiotic fucking laws.
lived in California for a while because that makes her an absolute expert on everything that goes on there. And no, the fire would not have started because it wasn't climate change. This is the misinformation. These Democrats and their mouthpiece on mainstream media, when something doesn't go their way, when there's any natural
Their earpiece is showing there.
because they focus too much on these freaking DEI policies, they say, well, it's climate change. But we know it wasn't climate change. And imagine if this was something that happened under Trump.
It's a mix of the weather and lunatics and incompetence.
Let's not politicize it. They would be 100% politicizing it. The mainstream media would be all over this, even more than we are. So don't give me.
Yeah, if Trump was in office right now, like if he was the current sitting president, you know they'd be like, "Where's Trump? Where's the aid? He was handing out waters in XYZ state after the floods. Where is he now? Where is he now?" That they'd be saying that shit, but no, instead they focus on other crap. No questions of where's Biden? Where's the aid from the Biden administration? No. Considering this state is the main reason why Democrats always win, because it always goes blue. But where are the Democrats when you need them? Oh, they're nowhere to be found.
Give me that BS. Let's get back to it.
To a fire as large as the one that happened. So you are absolutely right about that. In terms of politicizing this fire, that's what I've been most disgusted by. I was
You're literally politicizing it.
Mexico was sending aid, the very people that Donald Trump would like to build the wall against. Well, they must have climbed over the wall because now they're here helping put out these fires.
Oh, wow, you're politicizing it.
Apparently to be 51st.
Do you not know how ports of entry work? Are you that retarded that you don't know what a port of entry is? Like the port of entry in Tijuana? Do you not know what that is? Where people literally cross back and into Mexico and back into California? Do you not know what that is? Are you that retarded?
State. They are here.
I mean, of course they are. They're DEI hires in The View.
And that's what should be happening. And I applaud Mexico and Canada for helping. But who I don't applaud is someone like Jesse Waters on Fox News. This is what he said. He blamed LA fires on diversity. He blamed
because they are what's to blame.
One burn was burning bright and one was darker.
I don't know.
Is that the kind of diversity?
Because he says
are you retarded? Holy shit, you fucking stupid nigger bitch.
California's woke politics and DEI are the reasons.
Holy shit. That is exactly why.
Been tearing down dams.
We showed that fucking garbage ass ad the other day in one of the other videos. I think I don't know if it was the one for Yellow Flash or if it was the one for Decoy Voice, but we literally showed the video of the fire chief or whatever her fucking made up bullshit position is, saying that, oh, well, we want the firefighters that respond to look like us. And if your husband got himself in that situation, well, it's sort of his fault. God forbid he's trying to ensure, God forbid there's a house fire and the husband's trying to ensure his wife and kids are the ones that get out safe first, and he gets stuck because of it, because he wants to protect his family. Yeah, God forbid. Oh my God, what a dumbass husband getting himself stuck in that situation. Why couldn't he have been the first one out the door so that we can go in and pull out the women, then call him a dumbass for leaving his women and his woman and his kids in there? What a fucking idiot take. Holy shit, dude.
Because Native Americans, but he called them Indians, wanted some of the river back so they could catch salmon. And Gavin didn't just knock down one dam for the Indians, he knocked them all down. He knocked down 4 of the dams.
Where is it? Where is it? Here it is. This entire shit used to be nothing but water. But thanks to bullshit fucking measures, we blocked off some channel that sort of dried this shit up to protect a tiny little fish. This is what California is supposed to look like. We're supposed to have this giant fucking river rolling down, but because we built a dam over here somewhere up in the north to protect a small little insignificant fish because it's an endangered species, to redirect the water, there's no more water that flows down here. But go on, tell us how he knocked down those dams. Go on.
I'm sorry, this
Go on.
is stolen land, first of all, okay? California is stolen land. Second of all,
my God,
that's part of what
you're a
always
fucking
happens. These
stupid
dams, there's
bitch.
preservation of the dam. So that was just complete, not only misinformation, but it was racist.
Sunny Holston. Yeah, listen, Mexico, Canada, neighbors, Canada, the greatest ally that we have, doesn't mean that you don't enforce border policies amongst countries.
Yeah.
This is how it's supposed to be. It's like in your own home, you can have a great neighbor, could be your best buddy, doesn't mean you're just allowed to enter your house freely anytime he wants to, still has to knock on the door and ask to come in. That is the most absurd point of view. That's what allies do.
So
We help each other.
retarded.
There's a problem in Canada, America would go.
She's really
Problem in
not
America,
doing the
Canadians
black
could go.
race any
It's been
justice.
that way forever. Doesn't mean you don't enforce the border. And her calling
Holy
it stolen
fuck.
land. Stolen from who? The tribe who stole it from the original tribe, who stole it from another tribe? You think Native
Yeah.
Indians weren't stealing land from themselves and killing themselves for it back in the day? Give me
Not
it.
even Native
This is what's
Americans,
happening
Native
all over the
Mexicans
world.
as
People have
well.
been conquered, and if you weren't strong enough, you got conquered. Let's get back to it.
And I think we need to also call stuff like that out.
Yeah, like it's the basic premise of human nature. Once a certain civilization advances, you could see it all throughout history, they always conquer the lesser civilization. And then they spread the technology, and then that lesser civilization gets integrated and becomes a fellow advanced civilization. It's how we grow as a society. How fucking retarded are you? Holy shit.
That's
Look, I
happening.
think what this has shown us is for people who
If it wasn't for the colonialists coming over here and advancing technology, your fucking people, your quote unquote African descendants would still be in Africa living in fucking sand huts. Like, holy shit. Like, are you that fucking, like, holy fuck, these people are retarded, dude.
thought that Donald Trump has changed, he has not changed, okay? He is the same immature, insensitive.
sure about that? 'Cause
inappropriate
getting
oaf that
shot
he's always been.
changes a person.
What he should be doing right now is
He's
putting
not
out
in
tweets
office.
saying, I thank the heroic first responders. I thank the country.
You mean the first responders that bash men who get stuck in fires?
States that have sent help. I have talked to Governor Newsom. I have talked to Mayor Bass. I have told them that my administration and
Let's get one thing straight. Governor Newsom would rather get his dick cut off than ever talk to Trump before he's in office. Same with the mayor. They would both rather get their dicks cut off. I don't know if the mayor's a woman. If so, she'd rather get her pussy sewn shut before they ever talk to Donald Trump before he's in office for help. Let's get one thing straight here. They're fucking woke fucking bullshit weirdos.
7
All of
days
them.
will be
This
ready
entire
to
state's
supply everything
leadership
and
is that
anything
way.
that California needs. Californians, my thoughts are with you. Those are the things you have
California-
to say. If
he's
you
not
know
in
what
office
you're doing
yet.
about,
He's
go
not
back
in
to
office
everything
till
that,
next week.
Joe Biden has said for the last 4 years after a natural disaster. I have lived in Florida for
Blah, blah, blah,
44
blah, 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 blah.
I have
Let me requote what Biden usually says. You know, this is a massive tragedy. It almost reminds me of when I lost my dog. My dog Stacy. Oh, my dog. I loved her so much when I was a little kid. You know, when I was a little kid, oh my God, it was the greatest times of my life. Ice cream cost 25 cents when I was a child. Oh man, we had segregation. Segregation was the best, you know. That's why I spoke at the funeral of a Klans member. Speaking of a Klans member, did y'all know that Clash of Clans is one of the best games in the world? Speaking of games, did you know that Call of Duty's numbers are falling right now? Speaking of the call to duty, our military right now, the one of the weirdest militaries, we're enforcing DEI higher because there's just too many white men. Speaking of white men, I'm ashamed to be a white man myself. I wish I was black like my partner Kamala Harris. Speaking of blacks, they smell really good, especially their children. Talking about children, oh my God, the children, they always smell the. There, I just quoted Joe Biden's bullshit. If you notice, I ramble on to sort of exaggerate how he just rambles on, loses his train of thought, and then goes on some weird tangent about some other bullshit. Kind of like what Kamala with her middle class America crap. I was a middle class American. You were raised in Canada. My parents, who both had doctorates, oh, they tried their best. I remember Nana. They hired. They had to get help to raise me. You mean a maid? And oh my gosh, she was like a second mother to me. My second mom. Oh, so now we're taking a page out of Rich Dad Poor Dad, huh? Interesting. Robert Kiyosaki, you're quoting Robert Kiyosaki with his two dads, his rich dad and his poor dad. Oh, huh. That's odd. But most people don't know about that because most people don't know who Robert Kiyosaki is unless they're in the finance world and the entrepreneurial world. And they've read Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Seen so many
yeah.
hurricanes. You know what somebody wants at that time, a citizen? You want to see your federal government, your state government, your city government working seamlessly with each other, like I saw
They do.
with Joe Biden, Ron DeSantis, and Daniela Levine Cava, the mayor, after the Surfside building collapsed.
Yes.
When we had that.
Okay, what about FEMA ignoring and being told to ignore houses that had Trump flags and Trump support on their lawns? What about that? Is that getting with the government and the governor and ensuring that the people are, safe, secure, and sound? Because to me, that sounds a little bit like discrimination and the opposite of that. Sounds more like you're protecting your interests.
That picture of Joe Biden sitting there next to Ron DeSantis saying to him, what do you need? What can I do for you? And so
yeah, that was
is what he has
after,
to do.
ridiculously
He has not
after.
changed. He will not change. All of those people thinking he has, I don't know what you're smoking. I'd like some of it, please.
Ladies are absolutely.
Well, it's legal in California, so go out there and buy it.
Now, I'm a big advocate
But we know
for
you
this.
wouldn't
They should be allowed to be on
because
TV
marijuana
and
is
talk about whatever
bad,
the hell they want
according to
I
you.
just can't believe people actually watch this stuff. I comment about it because I think they're morons, not because
Yeah,
I
they
have an
are
interest in what they're
morons.
saying or because I believe them. Imagine
garbage
going to
takes.
a taping of this thing and sitting in the crowd and having to listen to Whoopi Goldberg and Sonny Hostin and the one Republican puppet that they have there. Give me a break. Now, the next clip you're going to watch is
I want to blow my
favorite
brains
racist,
out.
Joy Reid, because she gives me some content to make for you guys, talking about January 6th and how Trump has to, quote unquote, grow up. You can't make this stuff up.
You're still
The
going
BLM
on about
riots are not a
January
problem,
6th.
but January
And you're
6th
you're
is a problem.
saying
Let's
Trump
go.
needs to.
But we begin tonight with
Yeah, I agree with what he said about the riots. The riots weren't a problem. The BLM riots and the Antifa riots here in California and everywhere else that they happened, those weren't a problem. Built shops being destroyed and ransacked. And I'm not talking about like corporation stores like Target or Walmart. I'm not talking about those types of stores. I'm talking about mom and pop shops that were literally ransacked, broken windows, everything was stolen, and they got zero fucking aid. Oh, but they protected the interests of Target and Walmart, the corporations, the corpos. But I thought these people were supposed to be anti-corporation. That's very, very odd.
January 6th, today's date.
Oh yeah, and on growing up, you're seriously still going on about January 6th, one of the most peaceful protests we've seen from the Republican side.
Which used to hold an unremarkable place on the political
shit,
calendar.
dude.
The ceremonial day when every 4 years Congress certifies the foregoing presidential election. Certification Day remained unremarkable for 245 years, a mere formality that barely anyone noticed until 2021, when Donald Trump, having been tossed out of the presidency by 81 million voters following a failed first term that included 1 million COVID deaths and a recession, refused.
Are you fucking serious? Are you that retarded? The recession happened because of COVID. And we also learned that the FBI was literally telling fucking social media networks like Twitter and now known X and Facebook to censor anything that went against COVID. They have the literal documents to prove it. That the FBI conspired against the American people's freedom of speech and censored millions of Americans who have fucking doctorates, who are actual doctors, who are pushing against the COVID shit, saying that the masks didn't do anything and that the vaccine wasn't ready yet. Are we also going to forget that some of those deaths were because of the vaccine, not because of COVID, but because of this highly experimental vaccine that we were pushing out before we even did animal trials, successful animal trials? We essentially turned people into guinea pigs because of it. Oh, but it's okay because it's not only a specific demographic, like what they did back in the day with black people and what was it, the polio vaccine? Yeah, that then it was wrong because it was only black people. But now because it's white people included, it's okay to test them and treat them like guinea pigs, right? It's a little odd.
Refused to accept being fired by the American people and instead embarrassed by having lost to Joe Biden.
He literally said
To his
peacefully
enraged
and
disappointed
patriotically.
supporters, telling them he hadn't lost at all.
They deleted
The
that.
election had been stolen from him and from them by various phantoms.
It had been stolen.
Black and brown voters in swing state big cities.
There's
diabolical
literal
Democrats
proof
in
of
deep
that.
State, the voting machines themselves, and maybe even the ghost of Hugo Chavez. And with that big lie, Trump summoned his most ardent supporters to the Capitol. And from that
No, he
day
didn't.
on,
People just showed up.
after more than 4 hours of hell, in which Trump
As a matter of fact, it was FBI plants that were there instigating the violence. Like, there's literal videos of people being like, yo, what the fuck are you doing here? You don't look like a protester. You look like a Fed in disguise. We can literally see the wire and the boots. The standard issue boots and the wire going up your chest. And why does your sweater look like it's somehow concealing a bulletproof vest? There's literal videos like that on the internet from that day. So no, it wasn't the people who showed up to peacefully protest. It was the plants that were planted there to stir up and cause commotion and get the people riled up. That's what it was. We've seen it before, and it has happened numerous times in different areas.
Trump sat in the White House watching on TV and throwing ketchup at the wall.
No, he didn't. He
as
tweeted.
mobs of his supporters sacked the
He literally
Capitol.
said peacefully and
Injured police
protest,
officers,
peacefully and
5 of whom were
patriotically
dead,
protest. He said to
alongside
go home.
Multiple Trump fans, one of whom got trampled by the mob, and another shot by a police officer while trying to force her way into the speaker's lounge, where terrified Congress members.
We actually have video proof of the inside where they were giving them tours and letting them
This became
in.
the lasting memory and meaning of January 6th. This officer standing at the top of the stairs, tricking the mob into going left instead of right, where the Congress members were hiding. This officer was trapped in a doorway, screaming for his life.
He could move.
These senators evacuating, fleeing for their lives, including this Missouri Republican, Josh Hawley, who you see circled, who just hours before fleeing in terror was throwing his fist up to the crowd like he was one of them. These Republican members cowering.
Okay, why don't you show the footage of the security guards literally letting them all in like it's nothing, telling them to go in a single file line? Why aren't you
behind the
showing
House
those
chamber
clips?
door under the protection of a Capitol police officer whose service they would later refuse to honor with votes in favor of congressional gold medals because they feared it would anger their Trumpy base. And these images, the so-called QAnon shaman and his fellow goons taking over the Senate chamber, a highly restricted area to the public, including this guy who brought zip ties, and this old man who ransacked
That's
then
funny.
Speaker Nancy Pelosi's office and then
Oh, yeah,
took a seat in her
ransacked.
chair with his dirty feet up on her desk. This still unarrested person who left
That's what they look.
pipe bombs outside the Democratic and Republican committee.
How do you know they did that? How do you know they did that? How do you know this isn't just an individual just walking down the street?
And of course,
How do you know they did it? Where's your proof? Where's your citation that they did that? That they left pipe bombs? Because I didn't hear anything about bombs the first time this happened. Are you now spreading disinformation? Because that sounds like disinformation to me. Straight up disinformation and misinformation. Because when that first happened, I heard none of that. Secondly, there's other security footage that shows that the security guards actually just let them in There was no actual pushing and shoving. They let them in peacefully. So,
Course
what?
the noose.
But how come you don't show that? Oh, because it's the
Went with them to
MSNBC.
Washington to hang Vice President Mike Pence with over his refusal to commit a federal crime by pretending that Trump's fake electors were real and the real electors were invalid. This is January 6th. From that day forward, and pretending that this is no longer what today means, this is January 6th.
This looks like they're on the inside trying to get out, by the way. It looks like they've been locked in from the inside.
And pretending that this is no longer what today means is, to put it bluntly, an insult to every.
You know what else is an insult?
Every
Showing only
terrified
half of the
congressional
story.
member, every Capitol worker who had to clean up the feces
What I have to say to that is good. Government officials should be scared of the people because they work for us. They don't work for themselves. They're elected in by the people, by us. So they work for us. They're civil servants. So yes, we have a right to do this shit. Obviously, not a right to go in and destroy property, but a right to protest. And if the government becomes tyrannical, a right to deal with that tyrannical government how we see fit. It's called the United States Constitution.
the Trump mob smeared on the walls, and to every decent notion anyone ever had about this country. It's also a lie. It's a lie most Republicans and even some in the media want to tell you because it makes Republicans feel better. And apparently making Republicans feel better is really important. Since while their elected officials hid in terror with every single Democrat, the party itself very quickly changed their minds, led by Trump and their favorite billionaire news channel, Rupert Murdoch's Fox. They created a new big lie that January 6th was just a normal tourist occasion and really not that big of a deal.
It's because it was. The government is what got violent, and so was the cops. It was not an insurrection.
Since the War of 1812.
How are you comparing this to an actual war?
Literally for the incitement of an insurrection.
It wasn't an insurrection.
Just moving on.
The real insurrection was kicking Biden off of the ballot and then putting in Kamala without holding another fucking primary. That's a real insurrection right there. But you don't talk about that.
And pretending
Quite
there's
odd,
no harm,
huh?
no foul, and preparing to quietly reinstall the chief insurrectionist without comment is frankly a shameful idea.
There's literal tweets that he
The fact that so
said
few
peacefully
voters found
and
his actions
patriotically
disqualifying,
protest
the
and make
Supreme
your
Court
voices be
conservatives'
heard.
negation of the Constitution's
But to be safe and to go
insurrection
home.
clause, so our shameless Chief Justice John Roberts could clear the way for his reelection.
Why don't you show that?
It is, sorry, utterly shameful.
You're utterly
Today is
shameful
not
and
a day to
disgraceful.
commemorate.
Holy shit, dude.
Yes, we've got to do it because that's what some of y'all voted for or failed to vote and cleared the way for. But for God's sakes, let's at least have
What
the
a
decency
stupid
and
negress
dignity
bitch. Holy
to be a
shit,
little
dude.
embarrassed.
What a
Embarrassed
dumbass she
to the
is.
most cynical of political parties. For their supposed dear leader, for his
Holy
billionaire
fuck,
bosses
dude.
who
Setting
paid to
black
reinstall
women
him, and
back
for
by
anyone
so
who
much with these
dismissed
garbage
January
takes,
6th,
dude.
2021 as not a deal
Invalidating
breaker
smart
for the man
black
for whom
women.
The violence occurred to be president again. You do realize the rest of the world can see us, right? In 14 days from today, you will hear many soberly and
You do realize that the rest of the world is laughing at us because of DEI policies, right? The policies that have your dumbass here sitting in here, the policies that guarantee you get a job even though you're clearly not an intellectual, even though you make yourself out to be one. Yeah.
the peaceful transfer of power. Well, I hate to be the fly at the picnic table, but you can't peacefully transfer power to an insurrectionist.
You know what we do to
simply because it
flies?
took them
We
an
swat
extra
them or
4 years
poison them.
to finish the job. This was a violent transfer of power.
You also want to know why Trump didn't get anything done? Because Congress and the Senate was ruled by Democrats. That's why. Why don't we talk about all the garbage shit that Obama did? Why don't we talk about all the shit takes he did, like the war in Iraq, not stopping ISIS sooner, leaving Americans over there to die, extending the war tenfold. Why don't we talk about that? Why don't we talk about the fact that he's the one who had children in cages, immigrant children in cages, but we use those images to make it look like Trump's a bad guy. We don't talk about that, huh? On the MSNBC. A little odd.
Power. The most violent in U.S. history, if we're being honest.
Imagine being married to Joy Reid. And ironic that
I'd rather kill myself.
Behart, and then there's Joy Reid, two people with the name Joy that have to be the two most miserable people that are on TV.
Yep.
And we all know she only got the one talking point, but one thing we can all be happy with is we know that we are going to pardon these January 6ers. I'm sure there's some number of people who maybe did some bad things, and that's why Trump said he's going to look at it on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah.
It's important. But one thing I'm really glad about.
Yeah, he said he's going to pardon those who were peaceful, and those who deserve to be in prison, he's going to leave in prison. That is literally what he said.
Is that Trump always said he's going to do it on day one, not day two. This is a priority. And that's important that he says that for a few reasons.
Oh,
One,
speaking of, oh shit, yeah, Base Conservative says something about day one priority. I'm amazed she didn't go on about how he's gonna be a dictator from day one and go on with that when Trump clearly was joking and said he was gonna be a dictator for one day. Then after that, he was gonna quit. He was gonna be a dictator to get shit done for one day. Then after that, he was gonna resign. You know. Yeah, but I'm amazed they didn't talk about that and spin it in some weird way to call him Hitler yet again for the 900th time.
To do. It's a matter of justice. Criminals get off the hook all the time. People loot, people rob, people pillage, people burn.
We literally talked about that arsonist yesterday
on Twitter when they burned down Minneapolis. Hey, look, let's just ride in Minneapolis, and the vice president is going to let us out after we rob small businesses. And attack
small mom
grannies.
and pop shops.
Those people should be in jail. But the old grandmas who took selfies in the Capitol Rotunda, they shouldn't. One, they should never go to prison. And two, we are not putting in jail people who loot, rob, and burn down cities. So it's a matter of justice.
Yeah.
Trump should let the mass majority of these people go. Also, there's one thing in politics, right? It comes down to friends and enemies a lot of times. And these people who showed up to support Trump, these people who were peacefully these people
protesting.
Are supporters. And we need to show people not only that, well, we're on your side if you're a supporter of ours, but at the very least, you won't be punished for supporting us. Democrats have created an incentive structure where if in any way you suggest support for a Republican or a conservative, you could be punished at your school. You could face professional reprisal. Post something on social media that is very conservative.
So stupid.
You can get fired. The FBI might even look.
Remember when Gavin Newsom was trying to get people arrested for posting memes on Facebook here in California about Kamala? Remember when that was going on a few months ago? I remember. Pepperidge Farm remembers. Yeah. But the Democrats are the party for the free people, even though they're trying to censor your freedom of speech, your basic First Amendment right. Yeah.
Look into you, knock down your door. Same thing we see with the pro-life people arrested in front of your kids
dude.
if you happen to be part of a pro-life march, a peaceful one. Some of these people have been in jail for too long now. They've been ostracized. They've been punished, and it's time to let them out. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash that thumbs up button. Consider subscribing to the channel. Help it grow. Catch you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.
It's so fucking ridiculous, dude. There's my comment. But yeah, it's so stupid. They're all fucking idiots, man. Every single one of these people. I can't wait for these news outlets to just die. MSNBC is literally losing ratings. That's why Elon Musk fucking tweeted that joke about buying MSNBC. Because they're losing so many ratings. But yeah, let me know what y'all think of this shit. They're politicizing the fires, and then they go on to say that we don't like it when people politicize the fires. Well, they do that exact same thing. Anyhow, let me know what y'all think. Let me know in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Later.